Boom, boom, boom. Ba-da! Bum, 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 bum. I will spare you the rest of that. This is William Green, and these are my green pets. And you are looking at Brassia New Start. You're looking at the spike head on, and you can see that some of the first flowers have popped open, and those will continue to pop open over the next couple weeks. However, this year I'm somewhat irritated with this plant. In fact, you might say I'm downright annoyed. Look at the flowers. They are an absolute mess. Last year they came out beautifully, all facing the same direction, just uniform and gorgeous. And this year, I just don't understand why. But some of them are facing up, some of them are facing down, left, right. I don't get it. But it does not look pretty when it comes out in a big mess like this. I'm assuming it's something to do with the light in here and the flowers didn't know which way to go. But ugh, that's frustrating. So I guess the whole spike's gonna do that, I don't know. But anyway, they smell good. They have nice fragrance to them. And I guess we'll just have to get over the fact that they're facing every direction. Well, as you guys know, it is springtime here in the northern hemisphere in the Ohio Valley where I'm located. And it is so beautiful outside and so many wonderful things are happening that I have kind of been distracted, you know, from the orchids. They're down here in the basement. This is not where I want to be right now. So I'm looking forward to when the weather is warm enough that I can set up the shade tent outside and take them all out and enjoy them in the sun and fresh air. Just wanted to give you guys a quick look at my Cattleya seedlings. I'm very, very happy with them. They all are putting on new growth. And if you look over here, oh, it's kind of hidden. I have to zoom in over here. Bear with me. This is a piece of hickory bark, and it's got two little Cattleya seedlings on it that have been growing on there. And if you look over here on the right, this one it's now forming its first real adult leaf. You can see it just kind of unfolding there on the right. So congratulations, little guy. You are now on your way to becoming an adult. Here's the other half of the Cattleya seedlings, and these, for some reason, they're just much bigger. They all came out of the same flask. They all came out of the same seed pod. They're all brothers and sisters, but this bunch of them just have grown faster and they've just been bigger. So perhaps they're more vigorous plants, but who knows, maybe the little ones will have prettier flowers, we don't know. But let's look at some of their pseudobulb development, because this is kind of the exciting thing about these seedlings. This one's mounted also on a piece of hickory bark, and you can see it's putting out a nice new bulb there, as are all of them. I love the fact that they all put out new growth at exactly the same time. And this one is going to be the winner. This is going to be the biggest pseudobulb produced this summer. It's just so amazing that these Cattleyas, they put out one pseudobulb per year. That's it. Now they might put out multiple all at the same time once they get bigger, but right now they put out one pseudobulb and then it opens up and then it's done. And for 6 months of the year, they do absolutely nothing. This one, for example, is Little Mermaid. This is the Cattleya hybrid. And you saw it bloom in the fall. It's bloomed in October the past couple years since I've had it. Here's the leftovers from the bloom spike. But as soon as those flowers fell off in end of October or so, the plant has, this is it. This is what it has done. Nothing. It just sits there, which is nice, I guess. If you want some low maintenance plants, that could be a solution for you, because this guy, since October, so November, December, January, February, March, and now we're in April, so we're talking 6 months of the year, it just sits there doing what it does. Here's Cycnodes Wine Delight. We've been following this since it started putting out a new growth a couple months ago. And look at it, look how big the growth is getting now. I just love how it looks like it's exploding out of the old pseudobulb there. But I'm pretty much, I'm watering this more regularly now, and I even fertilized it the other day. So I don't know if I'm a little bit early on that, but it seems to be okay. I'm watching the roots very carefully, and they seem to be growing well. Everything seems to look good. So yeah, look, I hope that this bulb is bigger than this bulb was last year, and then we get more flowers, maybe even multiple spikes. Is that too ambitious? What do you think? Yep, looking good. I'm happy with it. Here's my other Catasetum type Mormodio Jumbo World. I sold a division of this on eBay a couple weeks ago. That was very successful. I was very happy about that. The piece that I kept has got two growths. You can see here, and you can see the little roots poking out as well. You can see them down there at the base. And this is much further behind than the Cycnodes Wine Delight. It's just now starting to grow. So they're just in pure sphagnum right now, and it's bone dry, and it's not going to get any water until these growths are maybe up to here somewhere, and also the roots need to be much longer before I can comfortably start watering it. But it's still very interesting to see how these grow, especially with no water at all. You can see how the bulbs, their storage tanks back here, are kind of getting wrinkly and deflating because the water inside them is going into these new growths. But that's what they are made for. That's how nature's designed them. So once they get a little bit bigger, then I can start with the watering. Okay, well, the rest of today's video we are going to focus on my slipper orchids. I have been very, very much inspired by Ed of Ed's Orchids, and he has just got so many beautiful multifloral slippers. And so I wanted to show you guys mine, and in particular a couple of them that are not doing what I would like them to do. So we'll look at the good ones first, and then we'll look at a couple that aren't really looking too nice. And if anybody's got any advice or suggestions, I would love to hear it. The largest one that I have, this is Paph Prime Child, and this plant actually won an award from the American Orchid Society last year. I got an award of merit for this plant. I would love for it to hold on to its older growths longer. The pattern that it's followed since I've had it for the past 3 years is a growth will bloom, and then it will produce a new growth, and then when that new growth gets close to blooming, the old growth will start losing leaves and dropping off. And I've seen these big specimen paphs with lots and lots of growths, and I'm thinking, how do they get them to hold on to those older growths? So I would love to have that happen. I don't fertilize these a whole lot. I'm kind of scared of fertilizer with slipper orchids in general. Well, with orchids in general, really. So maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not fertilizing them enough. Alright, this one here and this one as well. These are both Paph Michael Kopovits. And you guys know this one well because this is the really beautiful one that bloomed a couple years ago. And I am very hopeful that this new growth will bloom for us this year. But this one I haven't told you guys about. I actually bought it last year, but I've just kind of been sitting on it and haven't been talking about it. But this is another Michael Kopovits that I got at Hauserman's Orchids last year in Chicago. And it's got two really nice growths on it. And it would be just awesome if both of these Michael Kopovits bloomed this year at the same time. Looking forward to that. Now this is another one that is hopefully going to bloom this year. This is Belle Royale, and this is a cross between Colopakingi and Rothschildianum. And when I bought it, it was in bloom, and you can see the remains of the spike down here. But after that, it's been pretty slow, and I bought it 2 years ago, so this newest growth is 2 years old, and this leaf down here, this newest leaf, I'm hoping that it's concealing a sheath which will give rise to a flower spike later in the summer. Hope, hope, hope. It does have a new growth down here. You can see it.
but it is growing so slowly, and I don't know if it's just because, like I said, I don't really fertilize them very much, or maybe it's just a super slow grower. I'm not sure.
Now this slipper is a Phragmipedium. It's the only Phragmipedium that I own, and it is a Frag Grande. And this poor thing, it has been through 2 or 3 bouts of rot, and then it got hit by golf ball sized hail last May. So I really am amazed that it's still alive, but it is a fighter, and it is definitely growing, and this newest growth started in the fall, and it seems to be doing all right. I don't think that this growth will bloom. I've never seen it bloom, by the way. I think that it's probably going to need an additional growth after this to bloom, which is good because it actually seems to be producing one. If you look at the base down here, see that little green nub? Whoops. That could be a new growth, and maybe, possibly, hopefully, it could bloom off of that one. I don't know. Okay, so this Paphiopedilum is one that is just kind of driving me crazy. I do not know what the deal is with it. So I bought this plant 2 summers ago. I bought it at the same time as Belle Royale and Michael Kopovitz here. And when I bought it, it looked exactly like this, except it had one more leaf down here, and that's it. It has not changed at all in the 2 years that I've had it. Except last year in the summertime, I gave it an extra strong dose of fish emulsion. So strong, in fact, that it almost killed this Paph villosum. You can see the blackening on the leaves, and it set this plant back 6 months. I thought it was going to die, and in fact, I actually did kill another one of my slipper orchids with the same dose. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, after I gave it that mega dose of fish emulsion, it actually put out 2 new growths. You can see down there, and then this black mess over here, that actually was a growth. So it put out new growth after receiving a mega dose of fertilizer, but then those growths have done nothing. I mean, it got to this size and just has stopped. It is not growing at all anymore. And of course the other one you saw that it put out turned black and stopped. So I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's growing right beside all my other multiflorals. It's getting pretty much the same care. It has put out some roots. When I look in the bottom here, I do see some roots that have grown out a little bit, but not a whole lot. Wait a minute. Yeah. And this, by the way, is Colosan by Angel Hair. So this is actually a hybrid that has not been named yet. Kind of a new one. But I am at a loss for what is... I mean, it is obviously not getting what it needs because it's not growing at all. But it's not dying either. So I don't know. What do you want, plant? What do you want? Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of My Green Pets. Thanks for joining me. I'm William Green, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.